Hello folks, DragonKeeper96600 here, and welcome to something a little different. You see, I know I said I'd start up again with the Adventure Time reviews, and don't worry, I will continue them. Probably you'll get another one today, but I wanted to try reviewing something I've never reviewed before. A lot of you who have been following, who have been subscribed to me for a long time, know that I really like cartoons, and you're probably thinking, well, what's DragonKeeper19600's favorite cartoon? If you've ever thought about me in any capacity outside this channel, which you probably have not. But anyway, my favorite cartoon is actually not Adventure Time. It's not Transformers. It's this puppy right here. Right here. That's the whole box set, folks. I got that when I was 13? And I have loved this show ever since. It's one of my favorites. And for a show that only aired for one season and had a few extra episodes that released post-cancellation, Invader ZIM has a really strong, really kind of creepy fan base. But I am one of their numbers, so I really can't say anything about it. So I've never reviewed comics before, but I recently received an issue of Invader ZIM #1 in the mail with the Boom Books cover here. And I just really wanted to talk about this because Invader ZIM is a show that I'm really passionate about. Really. And this is a big deal because the show's been canceled since 2002, and it's 2015. So, like, this is something that's that we've been praying for years. Even if it's not a cartoon again, look at how shiny and new this is. So I'm gonna try to avoid spoiling the comic because I really want people to support this and I really want them to buy it. But I do want to talk about Invader ZIM and about this comic in particular for a little bit. First of all, I think the big question for a lot of people was, what will be the difference between a cartoon and a comic? And Jonan Vasquez, creator of Invader ZIM, as a lot of you know, has a lot of experience drawing comics. He's done such delightful titles as Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, Squee, and I Feel Sick. And Johnny the Homicidal Maniac is exactly what it sounds like it is. So the irony of someone who does like really black hole humor and like gore and stuff doing a children's cartoon on Nickelodeon is well known and exasperated. But so Jonan, it's not like he's switching to a medium he's unfamiliar with. Like it's easy. But the difference I think between cartoon and comic is, first of all, there are no voice actors. Second of all, I've heard that the comic is going for a higher rating, like age-wise, than the cartoon was. Like, the comic is marked as 15+. I don't know if it's marked on here as such, but, like, yeah, it's recommended for, like, older teenagers, so it was just like, oh! Because, like, on Nickelodeon, they were very limited to what they were allowed to show, and there was a lot of stuff Jonan wanted to put on the show that Nickelodeon wouldn't allow because it wasn't kid-friendly enough. Now, honestly, I think Invader ZIM, as it is on the show, would probably like deserve the 15+ rating if any network gave it to it. Obviously, kids younger than that can watch it and enjoy it, but like some of the content is like organs spilling out and like really disturbing stuff. So like it would make sense. So it could just be that it'll have the exact same content and they just made the rating more accurate. But I doubt it. If it's 15+, that means it's probably gonna get like, it'll never get like dark, but it'll get like darkly colored, and not just coloring wise, but like dark as in the comedy will get blacker probably. And I don't know how many like adult things, because like Invader ZIM has always just been like one big punchline. Anyway, so about the comic itself. The way it starts out is, hold on. One thing I noticed about this comic is that it seems to reuse a lot of stuff from like unfinished episodes. I mentioned earlier there are a few episodes of this show that never aired. Pretty much every Invader ZIM fan knows them by heart and they released the scripts. Some of them even had voice acting already done because, the show was cut while they were still working on it. But, so like a lot of people can like recognize these traits. And, I remember one of them is like ZIM. There's one scene in the comic where ZIM is laughing maniacally, as he is wont to do. And he says to the computer, "Computer, laugh with me!" And the computer goes, "I don't want to." in the comic. And that is a line from, I think, RoboParents Gone Wild, which is an unaired episode. And of course, there's a whole episode called Nubs of Doom. I don't know how many of you, if you're watching this, you probably know all about Invader ZIM. But anyway, there's an episode called Nubs of Doom where Dib, Zim's rival, retires from alien hunting. And as a result, Zim sort of becomes a hikikomori. Like, basically, he won't leave his house, and he gets fat and lazy and just sits around watching TV, eating snacks all the time. And that's a plot point in this, but it's actually reversed, where Zim is not on the scene for a while, and Dib gets really gross. And what they did here is that Zim kind of weaponized that. Like, his plan was to sit around inside and, like, have Dib hasn't grown indolent like Zim did in Nubs of Doom, though. It's more like he's just sitting at his computer, obsessively watching the screen of Zim's house, waiting for him to do something evil, and he's been doing that for God knows how long. So, so now that Dib is pathetic and fat and stuff, Zim can supposedly take on Earth unopposed. And a lot of people are like, that's really smart. That's a surprisingly good plan from Zim. I'm like, well, yeah, it was a good plan, but he kind of ruined it by once Zim was in the state he wanted, all he did was, like, switch people's mail around and read newspapers. Then he fucked around on Netflix for a week. So, like, he kind of botched it, and as he's wont to do. I said that already. So I thought that was funny. There was a few other things, probably. Also, there's a robot named Fudio. Fudio was also from another episode called 10 Minutes to Do. Yeah, I'm hardcore, okay? I think the thing about hardcore fans like us is Jonan knows about us, and he treats us with disdain. Like, I think it's kind of a playful kind of disdain. Like, he doesn't actually hate us or anything, but he really likes taking the piss out of us. Like, first page, you get this kid called Recap Kid, and Recap Kid is basically an obsessive Zim fan who, like, tells you all about the plot and, like, gets really excited about it, laughs really hard at jokes that are supposed to be obvious. Like, Dib's sister also knows Zim is an alien, but she doesn't care. She knows Zim is too stupid to ever do anything right, so she spends most of her time torturing her brother and playing video games. She loves video games! I'm pretty excited right now! Ah! So, like, that's pretty obviously a caricature of me and you and everybody else who's been waiting 13 fucking years for this. So, a lot of people have really taken a shine to Recap Kid, saying, OMG, that's me! It's like, yeah, that's you. It's supposed to be making fun of you. But honestly, this portrayal isn't totally unflattering. Like, if he wanted to, like, absolutely piss us off, he would try harder than that. So I think it's kind of an affectionate, OMG, look how silly you guys are being over a cartoon. But, so a lot of people taking shine to him, and I kind of have too, because, hey, it means I sort of, in a way, ended up in the comic. That's a little cool, I guess. What else do I want to talk about? Okay, the coloring is done by Ricky Simmons, who did the coloring on the show, and I think who colored stuff for Jonan's other comics. And if you look at it, it's like, it doesn't quite match the coloring tone of the show. It, like, looks a little darker, a little bolder. I don't know. I like it. Like I said, I never reviewed comics before, and I'm not a huge comic book person, but it seems to me like this comic is really funny. Like, I'm not going to spoil some of the jokes in here, because there are some great ones, but I'm going to talk about a little bit about maybe the direction this comic is going. Possibly. I think it's too early to predict that, but Jonan has said he doesn't want this to be like a retread of the show. He wants this to kind of branch out and be its own thing. And I won't spoil it, but one thing he said about there was actually, by the time it was canceled, there was actually a series finale planned out, which we never reached, called Invader Dib, where basically the season before this finale, Dib would get in a spaceship and pursue Zim through the stars. And, like, it would be like this great chase thing where Zim is going back to Urk and Dib is following him, and they'd have adventures in space. It'd be like Star Trek, Doctor Who type thing. And it seems like this comic is going in that direction already. And that would seem like, because that was like Endgame stuff before that was only talked about, never really planned out. But like, Dib has a spaceship. Anyone who's seen the show knows that. He seems ready to follow Zim into space, and it's like, conquer Earth. Hello? Zim with a globe is on the cover. Stay on Earth a little bit. But I don't think that they'll go into space and stay there this soon. But I do think that, like, I think it's good that, like, they're following this plot line because it means Jonan, getting all these names mixed up. Jonan has aspirations. Like, and, you know, I like aspirations in a story because it means that they're really excited about it. They're going to put their all into it, et cetera, et cetera. Did notice a few changes to the way the show is portrayed. I don't know if it's just me, but Zim seems more in Earth culture than he was before. Like, I mentioned that he fucks around for a week on Netflix. I didn't make that up. He binge watches something with Gur for a week. They don't mention Netflix, but it's pretty obvious that's what that's satirizing. And another thing is that there's a hot dog. Dib mentions there's a hot dog place Zim and Gur regularly go to. That Zim protests, I don't like that place. I think it's dirty. Like, that seems like kind of a low-key response from him. But it's not like anybody's, like, out of character, basically. It's just, you know, he's writing them a little differently to change with the times, because if he wrote them the exact same way 13 years later, that would be a little odd, because a lot of the humor on the show, probably because it was so good, has become dated, because, like, people have moved on from the lol so random. One major change I noticed character-wise is that you might recall Zib and Gaz's father, Professor Membrane, who was hardly ever at home and who had a floating screen of himself, like, usually with pre-recorded video messages reminding his kids to feed the puppy that has been missing for a long time, and, like, stuff like that. And he's, like, almost never around. And there was one episode about that was, like, centered around that Gaz wanted to go out to eat with her dad, but she only had one night in the year that he was free to do so. So she had to hurry up and find Dib so they could go, because otherwise she'd have to wait a whole another year. In this comic, Professor Membrane is in their house, and that's not the first time that's happened, but it seems like he's, like, hanging around there full time, which is weird. Like, you even see him playing video games with Gaz at one point, which is adorable, because Gaz really likes her dad, but, he even grounds Dib. I don't know if he's ever done that before, and it's kind of, he's acting like a parent. I mean, it's not like he hates his kids or anything. Like, they've always made it clear that he loves these kids. He's just too busy for them. But it seems like he's around more. And it's nice. It's, you know, it's cute. Speaking of cute, there's also this other character that you might have heard of. Gur. There he is on the cover. He's cute. Gur's back. And, of course, he is. Everybody's back. And I love the way Gur is written in this comic. It just, they got rid of, like, obviously, you can't hear the wild craziness of his voice. And I feel like he isn't written the exact same way. I feel like they're going a little darker with him, or maybe they're just writing him the exact same way, and since his voice isn't cute, you can't tell. But there's one point where he mentions that he ate a baby and stuff like that. Jonan has made it an effort to make people uncomfortable with Gur, and it hasn't really worked so far, but I think he's just wanting to remind us that Gur is not the lovable child you think he is. He's a little twisted and wants to die. But, yeah, so there's that. One thing I love about this comic is that if you look I mentioned this on Tumblr anyway, but if you look at the inside cover, right here, the voice actors are credited. It says, starring Richard Horvitz as Zim, Andy Berman as Dib, etc. These are the voice actors from the show. And the fact that they're credited means that they were, like, imagining, whoever wrote this, probably Jonan. Yeah, words by Jonan. So whoever Jonan was, like, imagining their voices in his head when he was writing it, which is pretty great. And, like, you can actually tell, because if you read it, you can very easily read this with everybody's inflections, and I really hope that they do a live reading of this at a con sometime, because it would be hilarious. But anyway, the comic's great, Invader ZIM's great. If you guys want me to talk about more Zim stuff, I will, but I'll review the second issue when it comes out, and I hope that you guys buy it, because you really, really need to support this if you care at all about Invader ZIM. So it's Dragonkeeper 9600 signing off.
Well, I've much work to do, so Invader ZIM signing off. My spine!